Just the faintest blush highlights the tip of his ears. How curious. A few strands of hair fall from their place to rest upon his cheek, giving me an almost irresistible urge to tuck them away. Then his gaze shifts to fall upon me. This time it is I who blushes. Lady Rosencruz, is something amiss? You, I have some hairs that have fallen loose. Haha, look at the blush. I touch my ear and watch as Prince Seren quickly mirrors my movement. He tucks the stray locks away as quickly as I made aware of them. To my surprise, his usually distant demeanor melts away to reveal a young man flustered by his coiffure. I don't fucking know that word, sorry. I'm not nobility, I am middle class at best. Is it fine now? It is perfect, Your Highness. He seems reassured, but still smooths out the hair around his temples and gently touches the pins and bows to assure himself that everything is in its place. I picked up the cat again during the brief break between videos. Everywhere. Okay, thank you. I doubt anyone but me would have even noticed, but it was but a small thing. I appreciate you keeping an eye on me nonetheless. He smiles, glancing down at his clothes. I trust nothing else is amiss, no wrinkles, no unseemly spots. I chuckle, surprised at the prince's suddenly relaxed attitude. I make a show of checking, but it is obvious that he is otherwise impeccably attired. Not a wrinkle in sight, Your Highness. He nods, shifting to be slightly more serious. I must admit that I was afraid that I myself would be late. Oh? Yes, I had some difficulty getting up this morning. I tilt my head, but see not even a hint of bags beneath his eyes. Skeptical, I raise an eyebrow. Late night? Are you secretly more like your brother than I had thought? I meant it as an innocent jest, but my words strike a nerve that unsettles his eyes. Recovering in a snap, he shakes his head and his smile returns. I read far too late in my chambers. I nod. Of course, Prince Seren is hardly the type to stay up late, carousing like Naziha. I've often caught him spending time in the library, after all. What reading held your interest so well? Seren smiles, but I can almost sense that brief openness retract. Nonetheless, his reply is both polite and tactful. As the Crown Prince, I can always learn new things to help my people. Of course, I mumble. Just then, several heads turn towards the entrance. Prince Naziha appears accompanied by Lady Ishbel, who is still speaking animatedly. Let's get mounted, we are late enough as it is. The Lord Regent, despite his gruff demeanour, seems to be in an uncommonly good mood and exchanges a few pleasantries with Naziha. Lady Rosencruz, may I assist you? Prince Seren has brought my horse while I was distracted, and stands next to it, holding the reins tight in his hands. Thank you, Your Highness. With some assistance, I am soon mounted. Very weird. It's just a very weird place for me to pause and take a breath. I am soon mounted and feel rather pleased with myself. Even if this is all I learn of the prince today, I have gained insight more than all of our lessons combined. At the tour's end, I returned to my chambers exhausted. That was all? Okay. That whirlwind of a day drained the life out of me, and all the thousands of faces I met are slowly blurring into one. The palace quickly returns to life, nobles and their servants slowly streaming back to court. By tomorrow, all shall be back to normal. Despite the late hour, I do not yet feel ready for bed. After setting a few candles alight about the room, I sit at my desk and re-examine my unfinished letter. Taking up my pen, I dip it in ink and begin writing. Dear Father, I have much to tell you and only so much space to do so on this parchment. New grimoire character unlocked. Bill. Okay, we have a new mission, and I know that. I don't think we can do this one, though. Yeah, we need a bomb. And it's Aurelius, like, I just don't know if we should, you know? I just don't know if we should. Also, I have things to do. I think for now we get everything above 30. Then we go back to doing what we were doing. Of course, we need to save just in case things go to shit. What one did I save on last? That one. So this one. Great. Shit. Okay. Again, we're going again, boys. Yep, shit. Yep. Just super shit again. Extremely shit. Oops. Sorry, what yours the one you have usually? Let's put fire on yours because, yeah. And we will go back to darkness for you. And you, we need wind for you. I would like to keep things like a bit more balanced. 6, 2, 5. You know what? We're just gonna accept that, I think. Okay, new missions are available. Hopefully one for Seren. I hum quietly to myself as I sieve the last package of powdered mandrake root into a flask. It bubbles over the tripod on the table that serves as my makeshift laboratory. That should complete the recipe for the restorative potion. All I have to do now is sit back and let it simmer for a few minutes. After it's done, I should go for a walk in the palace garden. It's a beautiful day. I sigh contentedly and close my eyes, allowing my face and neck to bask in the mellow sunshine. Usually by this time, the restorative ought to have cooled down enough to be bottled. However, I must have used a little too much heat when making the concoction because I can still hear the flask shaking on the table. In fact, the shaking is not diminishing in strength. If anything, it is becoming more and more violent. I open my eyes. The soothing, cerulean colour of the potion is rapidly giving way to an angry red. An angry red that is, furthermore, starting to glow? Before my consciousness fully registers what is going on, I find my body moving on its own volition, born of an instinct drilled into me by countless hours of lectures. With one hand, I knock over a crate containing rough sand and snap a wind smell, scattering the sand all over the floor. With another, I grab a pole on which a tweezer is mounted, clamp the flask tightly, and turn my face away to the wall, hurl... boom. My eardrums feel like they've been shattered by the noise of the blast. But, curiously, the explosion does not seem to have caused much heat or light. Cautiously, I turn back to examine the study. The flask exploded in midair, shattering the glass into mostly harmless grains of fine dust. The burning liquid that might, in a happier experiment, have been a restorative potion has been sprayed across the room. Most of it fell onto the floor where it was soaked up by the sand. Not, unfortunately, all. I stick my hands on my hip as I survey the little scorch marks on my study, the walls and the bookshelves. Could have been much worse. I guess I'll have to buy new shelves, bother. I wonder what happened. That wasn't the first time I've made a restorative potion, and I'm fairly sure I got all the ingredients right. I should have mixed them in the proper steps as well. I kneel down near a gooey patch of sand and gingerly scoop up some of the orange-red substance on it up to my face for closer study. It doesn't smell right. It smells kind of like... What's going on? Heavy boots stamp through the door of my study, cutting short the train of my thought. A cohort of heavily armed guardsmen troops into the room. Just by looking at their uniform, I notice it's the council's garrison. Thought I heard something. What's that smell? What the hell happened here? I stand up, inclining my head courteously at their leader. Good afternoon, Captain. I was trying to make a restorative potion when... Great, more useless distractions. I beg your pardon? I don't know about you, Rosencruz, but my time is at least precious. My polite smile disappears instantly as the garrison's voice spits my name, disregarding the respect I deserve as a council's delegate of equal standing as him, if not higher. We have been tasked to investigate the murder of the king, and the last thing we need is some fool of an alchemist blowing up the castle while we're searching for clues. I carefully observe the man. It's been almost 12 moon cycles since part of the council's garrison has been sent to Eskia to search for clues relating to the late king's assassination. And despite them being the faction considered the High Council's most powerful intelligence source, they haven't been able to find any hints. The appearance of me, a council's alchemist of a different faction than theirs, might be putting them on edge, much more than it should, and he might be not choosing his words carefully. I assure you my time is precious too. The restorative potion. To hell with your restorative potion. The sooner useless leeches like yourself clear out of our way. I am not a useless leech, and I resent the insinuation. Oh ho, you resent the insinuation, don't you? Hear her, lads. She resents the insinuation, she does. She doesn't think she's a useless leech. You might even believe she has worthwhile things to teach to their highnesses. Oh dear, did we hurt baby's precious little dignity? That elicits a few chuckles from his men. I feel myself colouring. Something feels off. The garrison happens to be carrying out their investigation in my study at precisely the time when I'm doing alchemy to create a potion I've made 1,000 times before but which mysteriously went wrong. There are too many coincidences involved in this, and I don't believe in these kinds of coincidences. I know my appointment isn't very popular with the garrison, or their backers of Eskian nobility. I wonder, could it be that I have been sabotaged? I genuinely don't know which one to choose. I do not know, so we'll see, since my intelligence is off the fucking charts right now. Okay, that didn't give us anything, so let's see if anything else gives us anything. Oh, okay. Wait, let me do that again. Sorry. No, okay, that didn't do anything. Take the blame. Take the blame is intelligence plus. Interesting. Even if sabotage might be a possibility, I haven't the shadow of any proof to voice any accusation. In that case, it would be better not to throw accusations around carelessly and just take the blame for the incident instead. Sighing inwardly, I resign myself to the unpleasant scene I know is going to come next. The core of alchemy lies with experimentation, and we alchemists believe that only through trial and error can knowledge be systematized and obtained. Sounds half right to me. Lots of trials, lots of errors, not much knowledge though. He sniffs, flapping his hands dismissively at the goo-soaked carpet of sand and the scorched shelves and walls. Each failure contributes to the alchemist's eventual success. I have little doubt your ratio of failures to successes is astronomically high. Making someone like you the royal tutor, why, they would have done better to simply pick any charlatan off the streets. Besides being a certified alchemist... certified. They award certificates for charlatanry now. I am also skilled in all 6 elements of magic, making me uniquely able to tutor their highnesses in their particular affinities. You'll have far exceeded my expectations if your tutoring doesn't end with the prince's deaths from your exploding restorative potions before the coronation ceremony. What is going on here? The formidable-looking bulk that is Garrison, marshal of the kingdom and the right hand of the late king, strides into the room, scowling blackly. Lord Marshal, my men and I heard an odd noise coming from this room and immediately came to investigate. And what did your investigation reveal? Rosen, the royal tutor, told us. I presume the royal tutor is capable of speech. I was making a restorative potion, which exploded. That's right. Anyone dead? Not as far as I can tell. Hurt? Maimed? No, Lord Marshal. The study is still intact? The palace not burning down? As you can see. Well, then what is the problem? He whirls upon the ashen-faced garrison captain in a towering fit of rage. Is it just me, or is the audio very quiet sometimes? I'm very confused. Okay. Nothing, my Lord Marshal. Absolutely nothing at all. Why are you wasting your time on nothing at all? You have a job to do, finding out who killed our king. Have you found out who killed our king? No, Lord Marshal, my men and I had better start pulling your weight before the Regency Council reconsiders your commission. Understand? Dismissed, Captain. He snarls the final word and turns his back on them, dismissing them utterly from his tension. The garrison captain bows obsequiously to his commander and, with a last glare at me, leads his men out of the study. Shame, we were just starting to become friends. I can only keep them off your back for so long. I look at Garrison a little astonished. From my limited interactions with the man, I know he is not one for small talk, but this amount of forthrightness is bordering on the verge of rudeness. They're out for your blood, the garrison and the nobility both, and I can't always keep them at bay. I'm grateful for the effort you've made, Lord Marshal. Don't thank me, thank the Lord Regent. I may not agree with the Council's decision to appoint you as the royal tutor, but my job is to keep the peace in the castle, and I intend to do my job. A commendable resolution, Lord Marshal. Garrison is already walking away as he tosses out the last few words at me. So don't make my job harder than it already is. Keep out of the garrison's way. Understand? I understand. My words are drowned out by the sound of my study's door slamming shut. New grimoire character unlocked, Garrison. Sweet. Right, what's our next one? I can't even start this. Prince Aurelius asked me to spy on his there doesn't appear to be any requirements for this one, but also I don't want to do it because I don't feel like I should do any of them that are not Seren. I don't know what the point would be. Over, like, me getting my stats up. So I have 30 charisma, 35 intelligence, 32 beauty. What should I get up? Maybe I should do 2 combat, just once, so that I can get some combat up. I don't know. Maybe I should just keep it as it is. I think I'll keep it as it is. Save over this one this time. Combat 3. Charisma 2. Beauty 5. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. Ever to restart. Alright, 5 combat, 4 charisma, 2 beauty. I don't know, man. Don't know. I don't know if that's good. We'll go with it for now, I guess. No, we won't. Okay. I'm so sorry. I have to get it right. This is the wrong one. Let's go again. 2. Yeah, it's not good enough. I don't think 2 is a good one to do. 6? 6? 5? It's amazing! Yes, hell yes. Look at our stats. So we have 37 beauty, 35 intelligence, 12 etiquette, oops, sorry. 34 combat, decent. We have social, we have charisma, 36, so we're doing okay. Okay, I am walking along the hallway on my way back to my bedroom when I hear something clatter loudly inside the hall to my right. I start a little at the unexpected noise, my heart pounding uneasily. First the assassins, then the conspiring nobles, next the exploding potion, and today this. Whatever this may be. Under ordinary circumstances I would have ignored the noise and went on my way, but the events of the past few weeks have put me on edge. Determined to investigate what is going on, I tiptoe towards the door. My fingers close around the knob and I turn it quietly. Who's there? I shout as I push open the door, bracing myself for the ambush I am sure is coming. I say, who's that? Oh, Lady Rosencruz. Thank goodness it's just you. Prince Naziha gives me a mock salute, the shocked expression on his face having quickly transformed into a grin of relief. Next to him, a pretty maid, her face completely crimson, is trying to smooth her crumpled dress. Naziha, come on. Come to think of it, Prince Naziha's normally impeccable attire is also a little in disarray. See, I don't like this kind of dude. I don't like it. Around their feet lay a dozen pieces of silver cutlery and the remains of what used to be the porcelain rack that once held them. Prince Naziha is holding a silver spoon, which he swiftly tucks behind his back with a boyish grin. Your Highness, may I ask what you and her were up to? Doing? We, can't exactly, What were we two doing again? The maid shuffles her feet, looking everywhere in the room except Prince Naziha and I, and does not speak. I thought I saw... You saw? Dash it, you could have told me sooner. I thought I saw you two polishing some silverware? You did? Oh wait, what did you say? You did? You did! Okay. Yes, polishing silverware was exactly what we were doing, isn't that right? The maid inclines her head ever so slightly and makes a soft whimper that could perhaps be interpreted as a yes. Are you sure helping her was the only thing you were doing, that is, Your Highness? Valkii, the very idea. What else could I have been doing? Naziha directs at me his most charming smile, and despite everything, I cannot help but smile back in return. So relieved it's you, my dear, rather than anyone else. You're a decent sport. Have I ever told you that? Prince Naziha laughs and winks at me, and like a fool, I can feel my smile widening. I don't choose these responses, just saying. Now, I suppose I'd better scamper away before someone less understanding pops up, right? Yes, Your Highness, you had better. There you are, Your Highness. Harris storms into the room, his brows furrowed together in an impressively bristling V. Oh dear, Harris, old man, what an unexpected pleasure. How is my prodigal brother, the black sheep of the family, Aurelius? He is perfectly well, Your Highness, and what's more, busy doing his duties. Duties? Never heard of them. Tastes good with milk? Your Highness, please. Harris narrows his eyes while actually glaring at the prince. It's the very first time I've seen the man wearing a clear emotion except for amusement. Raphael has been looking all over the place for you. It's about a matter of considerable urgency, and here you are doing heaven knows what with the domestic help. I was polishing the silverware, wasn't I, Valkii? To the best of my knowledge. Polishing the silverware. A prince polishing the silverware. Pray tell me, your highness, for what reason do we hire maidservants if not to polish silverware? If you absolutely force me to take a stab at it, sweeping the floor, perhaps? Sweeping the floor, very good, very your highness, very amusing. You see me bent over in mirth, unable to catch my breath. I have always fancied a splendid sense of humour as one of my most attractive traits. Naziha deflects Harris's glare with his usual deceptively gormless grin. Oops, my beat. Is it that appealing to help an overworked maid polish some silverware? That really was what he's doing, you know? Exactly, exactly. A true king is a servant of his people, right? I mean, I guess that I fail that because I'm not going for leadership like Owl, because I'm not going for Naziha. I would assume. He is a servant of his people, your highness, not a servant himself. Turning to me, Harris answers my question with barely concealed impatience. A prince or a king derives a great part of his authority from his prestige. Commoners love a king who has prestige, the army follows him, his councillors listen to him, and the nobility kneels before him. This speech again? Clearly you need reminding, your highness. To be seen helping servants polish silverware or scrub the floor or clean the stables, if you were seen, rumours of it would soon swirl through the court and beyond. Then the commoners and nobles alike would lose all respect for you, and were that to happen, you would never command them again. Small loss, never wanted them in the first place. Consider, your highness, the possibility of illegitimate children and future pretenders warring for the throne. Illegitimate children? Future pretenders? Isn't that outcome a little drastic from simply polishing silverware? Suddenly eager to prevent Harris from saying more, Naziha throws an arm around his shoulder and pats his chest. Harris, my dear friend, I admit that I may need the occasional reminder now and then, but does Valkii hear? For one moment the man looks slightly confused before he looks at me and understanding sinks in. You mean Lady Rosencruz? Yes, the point is we have to work to do, and I suggest we get down to doing it, rather than wasting any more time. What do you think? Harris gapes at him as if unable to credit the sheer audacity of his cheek. Naziha chooses to take his silence as agreement and tugs his arm cheerfully towards the door. Heap-ho, back to work we go. As the two men leave, the maid forgotten until now takes the chance to scurry after them. Shaking my head in bemusement at this incident, I carry on walking back to my bedroom, wondering just what caused the tray of silverware to clatter onto the floor in the first place. Oh, you innocent little fine. How much money do we have? 430. I should. Alright, classes. Wait, let's have a look. 37. 36. What do we want? Intelligence or charisma up? I don't know. So, I think we will... I'm not gonna give up until I get a 6, so I can have it at 50, because I want it at 40. But everything else, maybe I should change... now. You know what, this is fine. This is as it is. This. Which one did I do last? Start. Yes. Crap. Okay, cool. Fine, that's fine. We're good. I'm fine with that. Okay, knock knock. I look up from the dim lamplit notes on my desk where I had been scribbling lecture notes for tomorrow's lessons. Who would it be at this hour? Knock. Whoever it is, he isn't going away. I heave a weary sigh and push myself upright. Yeah, one moment. I call as I walk towards the door. What an impatient person. I pull the door open, eyeing the young guard standing before me balefully. Good evening, Lady Rosencruz. Good evening. What can I do for you? I am a guardsman in the retinue of Prince Aurelius. He wants me to convey to you his urgent desire to meet you immediately. Excuse me, but, stop giving me, bits to do with the other two men who I'm not trying to get at all? A guardsman? I observed the man carefully, but I can't remember ever seeing him before. Ooh. Of course, I don't know every guard by face nor name. My gaze falls upon his belt. The man doesn't carry a sword. Lady Rosencruz, did you hear what I said? This one, whoever he may be, does not feel any need to defend himself. While it isn't unusual for guardsmen to use magic, they are normally trained in the arts of combat by Marshal Garrison and don't wander the place unarmed. He must be a magic user. It's the most likely explanation. His armor would make hand-to-hand fighting impractical. Forgive me, I'm a bit... I sway slightly on my feet and yawn, watching the guardsman's face relax. I must have convinced him, and why not? It was a convincing performance precisely because it was not a performance. I really am sleepy and tired. Just not that sleepy and tired. I wish the prince would stop summoning me at these ungodly hours. So do I, Lady Rosencruz. It isn't easy for any of us in his retinue, either. Come to think of it, whenever Prince Aurelius wants something done urgently, he has his trusted Harris carry out his wishes. For a meeting of considerable urgency in the middle of the night... No, it ought to have been Harris, not this nameless guardsman without so much as a sword buckled to his side. It's possible this person is up to no good, and I should prepare to defend myself just in case. But with what? Great. I mentally go through the list of items inside my study, but none of them seem... You know what? Nah. This will mean that I have to try to get the perfect score that I want again, but we'll do it. It's fine. It'll happen. But what I want to do is make the items then. What should I make? What is this? Healing salve. Nobody can make it even. I don't know why. Like, I genuinely don't know why nobody can make that. Let's synthesize the bomb. What else can I make? I can make this, but why would I? No, I cannot make that. My bad. I cannot make a lot of things, apparently. I cannot make any of these, and I don't know why. I do not know why. No one can synthesize this. Darkness and fire. Oh, you know why? It's because they're not learning anything else. Fuck. Shit, fuck. Okay, I get it. I get it. Wait. Oh, this is kind of confusing. Okay, so... Who does this? Darkness. So, Aurelius needs some... fire. Alright. Okay, that's fine, but get it now. Water and wind. Or wood and wind. Wood. Let's... No, wind. What was it? Water? Fuck, I've already forgotten. I've already forgotten. Okay, so it's water. Okay, water. Is water. Alright, and what else was this? This is a lot. Okay, so he'll be able to do this one at some point. Alright, now we save again. Try to get the right amount of stats. No, sorry. I want the 40. I want the 40. Sorry. I want the 40. Yes. Ooh. Good. And I have a bomb thing. Item check success now. See. I suddenly remember the pile of bombs lying on the desk of my study. They are too cumbersome to be inconspicuously carried and too powerful to be used inside the castle's narrow corridors, but with a little effort they can be transmuted into something smaller. Darts, for example. I can imagine. Give me a moment to fetch what His Highness wants and we'll be off. What? The fire preservation vials I made today, of course. He's been pestering me about them all day, for an alchemical experiment he wants to do. Oh, I mean certainly, Lady Rosencruz. The guard inclines his head into a polite bow and I smile faintly, rub my eyes and stumble back into the study. My back carefully blocking the sight from the door, I gather the bombs to the center of the desk. Keeping my voice well nigh inaudible, I mutter the water spell required to transfigure their shape and a fire spell followed to force them into a new volume. It is a crude and hasty attempt, but it works. To my relief, the bombs shrink into the shape of small darts, which I slip inside my pocket. I return to the door, feeling appreciably more confident than I did before. All done. Thanks for being patient. Good. Please come with me. Eee, what's happening? The guardsman leads me down the corridor from my room into the arcing hallways beyond. The sounds of our steps are swallowed into the vast midnight silence. I shiver, not just from the cold. Who are the guards lining the corridors? I don't recognize even one of them. They are certainly not the men the Lord Regent assigned to me. They're not the men whom I had been given to understand will never be replaced in their duties without the Lord Regent personally informing me. So I was right after all. The guardsman who fetched me from my study and who is now keeping such a careful eye on me is an impostor. And the strange men flanking me on both sides can only be his accomplices. They, I notice, have swords and look as if they know how to use them. The one advantage I have in my favor is that my opponents take me to be much more stupid than I am. They do not suspect yet that I have seen through their trap. This, as I see it, opens up two courses of action I can take. The first, to be aggressive and strike a forehand blow, attacking them immediately in the hope of catching them by surprise and throwing them off balance sufficiently to make my escape. The second, to be clever and deal a backhand blow, following them obediently and biding my time until they make their move, then retaliating in a surprise counterattack when they are expecting a lulled, unsuspecting prey. I don't know. I do not know. If it nets us some points, it doesn't. At least not that one. Let's check the other one. Maybe we should be patient? Let's see. It is best to be patient for a while longer. I'll continue following them as if I suspect nothing. Who knows, perhaps they might even take me to the mastermind who is behind all this. This way, please, Lady Rosencruz. We're going through the garden. That's so. I'm very conscious of the proximity of the other guards, who were once trailing a respectful distance behind me but are now crowding uncomfortably close. As I step out of the hallway, I hear the chilling sound of steel rasping out of its scabbard. My escort suddenly lunges towards me, hands outstretched, the first syllables of a spell on his lips. There is no time to lose. I dip my hand into my pocket, my fingers closing around the shape of an explosive dart. Hey, what? I grab the dart and hurl it at the assassin's face. Kaboom! Without waiting to see what happens to him, I spin around, just in time to see the guardsmen lining the corridor advancing on me, teeth bared, steel agleam in red under the flickering lantern light. They are not speaking, but somehow coordinating their movements through growls and snarls that sound more beast than man. Blank and black, their eyes hold not the slightest trace of consciousness or thought. I cannot be mistaken. They stand under some kind of mind-controlling spell. Bing! A wicked-looking pike sings a cold song in the night air as it pierces towards me. I step aside and toss another dart in the general direction of my attacker. Boom! Another lurid explosion and two more assassins are destroyed, obliterated where they stand. Swords and pikes serry together in unison as the remaining assassins prepare for an all-out charge, their puppet master no doubt hoping to overwhelm me by the sheer weight of their numbers. That, I think with bleak satisfaction, is the weakness of mind control magic. The caster can sense when his puppets are experiencing a setback, but he is not able to discern exactly why. Grimly, I reach into my pocket and draw out two more darts. Half of my attackers are dead, literally blown to bits, along with the wall and most of the floor they were standing on. As for the other half, kaboom! The assassins have to be stopped. More than that, whoever is controlling them has to be stopped. I have to capture at least one assassin alive. And keep myself alive too, of course. To do that, I'll need the help of the palace guards, the real ones. Garrison! Garrison is Lord Marshal of the realm and commands the palace guards. I have to find him. Find Garrison. Clinging on desperately to this thought, I half walk, half stumble in the direction of the barracks. Thank goodness there are no signs of assassins around the vicinity of the comforting iron and stone citadel that is the palace barracks. I dash up to the door and start hammering it furiously. Within a minute, it swings open and Garrison, fully clad in plate armor, is glaring down at me. You again. You better have a good reason to wake me at this hour, Rosencruz. Assassins in the palace. I was ambushed outside my room. Assassins? His hand strays instinctively to clutch the pommel of the sword by his side. I heard loud noises coming from your wing of the palace. I thought it was another one of your alchemical experiments, but it was in response to the ambush. It was. I managed to kill most of who were sent to lure me out of the palace, but a few might have slipped away. Then we have no time to waste. I shall dispatch the guards I have here to protect the princes immediately. You will not, Lord Marshal. They are needed. The safety of the princes is our highest priority, as they should be, but the assassins are not after the princes. They are after me. That is what you believe. That is what I know. Besides, I've already killed most of the assassins. The princes, with their training in magic, are more than capable of taking care of the remaining few, who, in any case, have not any interest in them. A risk we cannot take. A risk we have to take. If we do not want endless repetitions of tonight, we need to do all we can to catch the mastermind behind this outrage. That means taking at least one of the assassins alive for interrogation. Garrison clenches his teeth as he reflects on my proposal, its merits conflicting with his natural apprehension for the safety of the princes. I hold my breath, hoping it is enough to convince him. At last he sighs and slowly nods. Very well, tonight I shall do as you advise, Lady Rosencruz. Let us pray you have not misread the situation and the princes are as safe as you believe them to be. You have my gratitude, Lord Marshal. My plan is this. I speak quickly, painfully conscious of how little time I have before the assassins pick up my trail once more and track me down to the palace. I shall craft a paralyzer to disable one of the assassins. For a few minutes he will be utterly incapable of using magic. That gives us the time we need to knock him out and restrain him from committing self-injury. No simple feat. There are many ways for a man determined to kill himself to do so. We'll need handcuffs, manacles, ropes, a gag to stop him from biting off his tongue. Quite so. You have all these things in the barracks. We have everything except a gag, but a cloth rag should be more than adequate substitute. You have any particular assassin in mind as your target? Yes, the guard sent to apprehend me was, unlike his fellows, unarmed. I have reason to believe he is a magic user and probably the officer leading this attack. The others are likely merely brainwashed mercenaries among all the assassins. I believe he is the one most capable of divulging useful information about the mastermind. My guards and I shall endeavour to take the magic user alive, but I suspect the rest of the assassins may try to kill him once they realise we are attempting to take him prisoner. Then we must kill the mercenaries before capturing the magician. An audacious plan, but a sound one. Go and prepare your paralyzer, while I rouse my guards. We have not a moment to lose. At once, Lord Marshal. Garrison opens the door wider and I head into the barracks. Tonight is the last time the assassins are taking me by surprise. Alright, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!